Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe, and today I want to inform you about cryptocurrencies and what their future might look like. But first, a story. It's May 22nd, 2010, the date of the first ever documented cryptocurrency transaction. The man in this picture is Laszlo Hanyecz, and he just bought 2 large pizzas from Papa John's. The price, you ask? 10,000 Bitcoin. If you've been keeping up with cryptocurrencies, you might know that those 10,000 Bitcoin would have been worth over $170 million at one point. Unfortunately for Laszlo, they were worth a mere $30 at that date. Cryptocurrencies. Many of you have heard of them because of their increasing popularity and appeal. The question that I want to answer today is, do cryptocurrencies have a chance of becoming currencies of the future? Before I dive into all the specifics, let's find out what cryptocurrencies are and how they work. If you've read the slide, you might know that the definition is quite complicated. Let me break it down for you. Cryptocurrencies are, in short, a digital currency that isn't tied to any bank, government, or institution. Most cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are mined. No, not like how oil or diamonds are mined. Cryptocurrency mining is a completely different thing. I first learned about cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin, in late 2016. The concept of a decentralized currency where transactions were anonymous truly astounded me. I had always been into finance and investing because of my dad's job as a compliance officer for JP Morgan, but Bitcoin was a totally new way of investing for me and made me want to learn more. I did my research and found out it was possible to mine Bitcoin on a computer. The image shown is an example of a homemade mining rig. Quite a lot of wires just to earn some Bitcoin, am I right? There were, of course, other methods of receiving Bitcoin, such as buying them for fiat currencies, such as the US dollar, but mining was particularly interesting for me. How does mining work, you ask? The whole point of Bitcoin mining is to verify transactions to make sure double spending never happens. Double spending is the term used when a user spends the same money twice. For example, you go out to town and spend $5 on a coffee. You hand the $5 to the cashier, so there's no risk of you spending that money again the next day on movie tickets. The risk with digital currencies is that the user can make a copy of the currency and send it to someone else, while keeping the original currency. Bitcoin miners prevent this by verifying transactions and are rewarded by, you guessed it, their own Bitcoin. But mining is a bit more complicated than that. A person must verify 1 megabyte of transactions, which could be thousands of them, and although very uncommon, just one. Verifying 1 megabyte is the easy part. Once it's done, you must be the first miner to get the answer to a numeric problem. The good news is no advanced computation or math is needed to solve these problems. This is where things get even more complicated, so listen. Miners must come up with a number that comprises of 64 numbers and letters that is less than or equal to the target number. Here's an example. This makes mining almost a guessing game, which increases the need for a powerful computer. Now that you know how most cryptocurrencies get into circulation, let's take a look at the pros of them, starting with the basics. Digital currencies allow for countries with highly inflated currencies and unstable economies to participate in the global economy. A good example of how cryptocurrencies are benefiting a country is Argentina. The Argentine peso has been losing value since 2008, where it was holding a mere 30 cents US dollar. But since then, the currency has dropped to under 2 cents USD. The drop in value has led many Argentinians to convert their pesos into the US dollar, a much more stable currency. Rip.io is a cryptocurrency startup that is trying to convince people in Argentina to invest their money into non-volatile cryptocurrencies. According to MIT Technology Review, one ad reads, 250,000 Argentines have already bought Bitcoin with us. Rip.io and other cryptocurrency startups give Argentina hope for their financial future. Another pro is that virtual currency is attractive to merchants because of the benefits they provide, including privacy protection and non-refundable transactions. When transferring cryptocurrencies, the holder chooses exactly what to send to the recipient with no more information. Credit cards, on the other hand, also send your own personal information. The main difference is that with cryptocurrencies, you are the one sending the money, and with credit cards, the merchant is taking the money from you. Another feature with cryptocurrencies is that there are no or lower fees than credit cards or other payment methods. The only fees come from third-party services like Coinbase to maintain a cryptocurrency wallet. The pros of digital currencies are convincing, but do they really outweigh the cons? A main con that is brought up in many articles is that investing in cryptocurrencies is very risky due to the volatility and lack of central administration. Here's a picture of Warren Buffett, a famous investor and CEO of the firm Berkshire Hathaway, who also appears to look sort of dead in this picture. In an interview, he told CNBC's Becky Quick that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are a delusion and have no unique value at all. Buffett's claim is supported by the large swings of value in the currency over the last few years. According to the article Bitcoin and Currency Alternatives by Tracy Delacio, because they are not backed by a national government or tied to a commodity, Bitcoin and other virtual currencies have no intrinsic value of their own, leaving them vulnerable to extreme swings in worth based on their availability and use. This statement is supported by the overall history of cryptocurrencies' value, such as Bitcoin, illustrated in this graph. As you can see, before 2017, Bitcoin's value was not even noteworthy, but spiked to almost $20,000 later that year. Another con that should be mentioned is that the anonymity and lack of control of virtual currencies create a safe space for illegal activities, such as money laundering and purchasing illegal items. Because of its decentralization and anonymity, cryptocurrencies give criminals a way to purchase illicit goods such as firearms and drugs. Don't get me wrong, cryptocurrencies are an innovative idea that many people think will rule as the next intrinsic currency, despite some of the harsh cons they possess. Others say that their volatility will make cryptocurrencies useless in several years. Now that you know a little more about them, it's up to people like us and the younger generations to decide. What can we do to either help cryptocurrencies become a more permanent and acceptable worldwide, or help put a stop to the uncertainty of values and illegal activity? Thank you.